Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, Rose of Sharon. Now, in my garden, until recently, one of the biggest weeds was Rose of Sharon, simply because it produced so much seed. And the seed that was being produced was on a Rose of Sharon, not even in my yard. But the seed would blow in, etc. It got to the point where even my daughters at a very young age would be able to spot a seedling barely beyond the cotyledon stage and know that it was time to pull out that Rose of Sharon. And so many people down here actually find that it becomes quite weedy. I've seen it done as hedges, as individual specimens, and they do great things. But they're getting better and better and better. And that means that this plant is another one to actually be brought back into our home gardens. It's a plant that blooms in the summer, usually in August, and sometimes all the way into September. So you've got a color range in here, plus a large flowering shrub that can be worked into almost any garden. It's quite woody, and with age often will do exactly that. So be aware that sometimes they are really big, and you've got to go and make sure that you are getting the right one for your spot. Now, one of the newer series is Chiffon Hibiscus. Chiffon Hibiscus is a series of large single flowers, but they have a lacy center to them. They were bred in woods of Cambridge, England, and there's quite a few different ones. That gives you the color range and the beauty of it. They almost look like a semi-double rose, but of course in colors that you don't really see in roses. Now, blue chiffon is the one that most people like because A, is blue, and it's a blue, powder blue flower. It won all kinds of awards. It is hardy to zone 5. Now, when we talk about hardiness, you got to remember that the older hibiscus never really grew even as far north as Hamilton, so that people from Toronto and other areas would come down into the Niagara Peninsula for the day, etc., and in the summer and early September, and find a plant with all these colors and all these flowers and want to take them back to Toronto, and of course found out that they weren't hardy enough. Well, with climate change, if we want to call it climate change, and with breeding, you find that these plants have actually been able to move and be successful further north. So you're looking at zone 5. Now, the blue chiffon is going to be a summer bloomer. It's going to be 8 to 12 feet tall and be fairly vertical. Okay, which means that the chiffons are not as wide as they are tall, and so that's actually important to know. They do attract butterflies, they are resistant to deer, and they love the sun. We can say that about almost every one of them. Now, one of the things that is great about this particular plant is that it has a low seed count set. So that means that even though it sets seed, it's not very many. So that is a good thing. And you'll find that of the entire chiffon series of Rose of Sharon. Then there's Lavender Chiffon. Now, exactly all the same conditions, blooming times, size, hardiness, except that, of course, the flowers are large lavender. It is the one that actually won the gold medal, where the silver medal went to blue chiffon. So technically, the lavender is considered better than the blue. Pink Chiffon is another one. It is the one that most people like, and I like this one because it's a little more subtle, soft pink. It's more of a clear, soft pink, and that makes it something that you can go and move into almost every garden. It still has the same height and width, so it's a fairly tall, 8 to 12 feet, and it is taller than it is wide. Still attracts the butterflies, resistant to deer, and loves the full sun. Then there's white chiffon. Now the large single white flowers have a little less of the petals in the center, but still great. It won a silver medal as well. So, believe it or not, the white, the lavender, and the blue are the best. Of course, I like the one that's the least popular. What else is new? Hardy to zone 5, 8 to 12 feet, the summer bloom and loves full sun, attracts butterflies, and of course, the deer resistance is important. So take a look at white chiffon. Now there's Little Kim. Now this hibiscus, or Rose of Sharon, is a more dwarf form. It was developed by Dr. Shim in Korea. And one of the nice things about this one is that they're all about 3 to 4 feet in height and width. So you've got a much smaller dwarf series. Pure white with a prominent red violet eye is Little Kim. Hardy to zone 5, 3 to 4 feet, summer bloom, butterflies, and of course resistant to deer. Little Kim Red. Now, this is the latest one to come out in this series. Still compact, but it is a deep rosy red flowers. Very often when we say red, you get the pale rosy red. This one is a deep rosy red, so that is a good sign. Hardy to zone 5, 3 to 4 feet, summer bloom, full sun, butterflies, deer resistance. One of the ones I think you should really try. Little Kim Violet has large plum violet flowers up to 3 inches across. I kind of like that. They are striking against the dark glossy foliage that the plant has. 3 to 4 feet, summer bloom, butterflies, deer resistance. I think I like this one an awful lot. Normally I would go with the Little Kim Red, but I think this one with the larger sort of plum violet flowers would be interesting. And of course, it has the slightly darker eye, like most of the hibiscus they do. And the whole series actually does. Now, there is also Satin Hibiscus. Now, this series is, let's just say, non-invasive Rose of Sharon. It's a variety that's been selected for color and habit, and it's low to no seed count. Okay, so that right there solves my problem with hibiscus, right? It is still going to be large. It's going to be 8 to 12 feet, and I think what you'll find, it's got summer bloom, butterflies, deer resistance, and the first one is Azuri Blue Satin. Now, it is considered seedless. It's the only seedless blue Rose of Sharon, so you might want to try that one. It was developed in Belgium, at ILOV breeding station. It's hardy to zone 5, 8 to 12 feet, blooms in the summer, full sun, butterflies, deer resistance. This one just might make my hit list because of the color. Orchid Satin, this one is probably as sterile as you can get. It has large single blooms, which means that they don't have the extra petals in the middle. It has a bright, dramatic red eye, and it radiates out like eyelashes. That is absolutely gorgeous. So you've got this sort of orchid bluey mauve color with the bright red eyelash type red on centers on every petal. Very pretty, very, very unusual, and it's the reason why it's basically they've called it orchid, to give it the idea that it's more like an orchid. The purple satin is another. It is, what you'll find is, again, it is seedless for most people. You may, under stress, get a few seeds. It's a dark purple, single-flowered selection from Belgium. And it's free-flowering plant, large flowers, dark green foliage, hardy to zone 5, 8 to 12 feet, summer bloom, loves the sun, butterflies, and of course deer resistance. Ruffled satin in this one series is the closest I would say comes to the tropical look of the tropical hibiscus. You'll see a lot of them out there with the ruffled edges and the big flowers on the tropical ones. Well, this one looks so much like it, you might have to look twice. It is, again, almost seedless. It has a tropical look that is just to be, I don't know what you would call it. It's gorgeous. How's that? Dark, rich pink, ruffled flowers, burgundy, and I mean a deep burgundy eye, large flowers, overlapping petals, so it's really full, and it looks good against its own dark green glossy leaves. Short inner nodes make it very nice. That inner node means that they're closer, the flowers are closer together. And so are the leaves. So that's always good. Nice, full, bushy plant, low seed count. Probably this one is going to be seen in gardens big time because of the look. And it looks so much like a tropical hibiscus that people are going to go, yeah, I want that one. 8 to 12 feet, hardy to zone 5, summer bloom, full sun, butterflies, and deer resistance. So it's got almost everything that you expect from a Rose of Sharon. Petite. Now, this is another one. It's basically an unusual dwarf because it is so small. 3 to 4 feet, summer bloom, full sun, butterflies, deer resistance, hardy to zone 5. But it has the pure lavender purple flowers with the soft ruffled edges and no center eye. You want me to repeat that? No center eye. It has got the dark green leaves, and the flowers are held well above it, above the plant itself. It's actually from the Arboretum, Polly Hill Arboretum, on Martha's Vineyard. So you're looking at a plant that I think people are going to want and put into their garden simply because of it. There are others, and what we should do is probably tell you that there are 2 other varieties that you need to go and look for. One is purple pillar and the other is sugar tip. The beauty of them is that the sugar tip is the clear pink double, and it's going to be only 5 to 6 feet, so it's in between. It's got all the same things and the same hardiness. And then there is purple pillar. Now, it's a semi-double. It's fastigiate, so it's very upright. purple flowers in the summertime. And it's, let's put it this way. This is the one you want to put in if you want to do hedges and screens, etc. Screen out a ugly view or a neighbor. Maybe they're the same thing. And you probably love it because it has won tremendous amounts of awards. 10 to 16 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide, loves the sun, and butterflies are attracted to it. So there might be the answer to a lot of people's idea on getting an unsightly view blocked as well. I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this has been the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.